Hello everyone, and welcome to the Commexis Cast Daily, all the news you need to know from our inbox to yours. I'm Matthew McGrorty, the videographer and podcaster here at Commexis, and today I'm joined by the lead strategist at Commexis, Phillip Brooks.
Good morning.
So our first story for today, basically Facebook newsfeed changes that are going to be cutting into publishers' branded content, and this is from DigiDay's Sahil Patel. So last week we talked about, on the Commexis Cast, we did a Facebook Live, we talked a little bit about it later in the week as well, about Facebook's new algorithm change. So for those of you who don't know, Facebook had changed their algorithm as of not the Friday that just happened, but the Friday before. And basically it's going to make it, and you probably have potentially seen it already, you're going to be seeing a lot more content from your friends and family, their posts, things they share, and stuff like that, as opposed to content from publishers that you follow. So if you follow, BuzzFeed or something like that, you're probably going to see way less content from them, with the exception of content that is significantly more engaging. And that was kind of Facebook's whole thing, is that you engage more with your family and friends, and then if there's content that publishers happen to produce that gets a lot of engagement.
And also sponsored content.
Well, also sponsored content, yes. Thank you. Which we will be getting to very shortly. You'll be seeing a lot more of that kind of content, and the goal of this was to, on one hand, cut down and hopefully make people interact more and make them theoretically happier sociologically, but also sort of fight that fake news sort of thing that's going on by reducing just the sheer amount of content that you end up seeing. So previously, before this algorithm update, top Facebook publishers could nab 50 to 70% margins on the custom branded video they distribute after paying for production and paid media. And this is according to 4 publishing sources, including 3 executives from publishers with at least 1 billion monthly views on Facebook. And Facebook counts views at 3 seconds, and apparently the cost per view for that has been incredibly low, less than a penny, one source had said, which means that top publishers can scoop up a lot of ad dollars just through their organic reach. And in addition, if they had a video that was already coming out, so for example, if BuzzFeed was making a video on, I don't know, ice cream or something, and they wanted to see if Ben & Jerry's wanted to sponsor it, and they already had that scheduled up, that's basically free money for them. But unfortunately, Facebook is sort of, well, depending on, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your view, I suppose. So Facebook is obviously going to be stopping this content, which is going to be hurting publishers and their ability to really get this content out here. One of the things that we mentioned on our Facebook Live last Monday was that for video especially, and for other things, Facebook is going to be becoming a lot more of a pay-to-play space. Facebook to some extent was like that beforehand, but now especially if you want your things to be seen, you're going to have to sponsor them or run Facebook ads or something like that, because those Facebook ads aren't going to be as effective, though they mentioned that you might see them a little less because you're seeing less content in general on your Facebook feed. So that's definitely one thing to keep an eye on. Phillip, you had
the other point to keep in mind too is that the production costs on the end of these content creators has gone up dramatically, not least of which in addition to the the amount of what they're going to have to cost to promote the content, but also their production costs in general, because a lot of these content producers, when Facebook was looking to build this channel, were subsidizing some of these production costs. So they've got kind of got a double whammy in that their ability to amplify the content has been compromised, and now it's costing more in general just to produce it.
Yeah, absolutely. Back when Facebook Watch was just beginning in its beginning stages, Facebook would subsidize a lot of the things, and then slowly they realized that they want to subsidize less of the video content, and now they've kind of gotten to the point where they've been pulling funding from a lot of things and sort of pushing it into a lot less different video content. And one of the things mentioned in the article is how are publishers going to be moving forward, knowing that all of these things are coming. And one of the things that a lot of them said were that they were going to be looking to Facebook Watch to see if the audience and the retention is there, because at the moment it's not, and they're wondering is Facebook going to continue to support this program, as Facebook has done a lot. They'll test something maybe out for a year or so, and then maybe they'll pull it if it didn't end up working. working. So they're a little bit worried about that, as well as one of the stats they have here is 86% of publishers make 25% or less of their video revenue on Facebook, which can point to how unsuccessful Facebook's been billing this. But almost all the video dollars ad publishers can make on Facebook come from branded content, not Facebook Watch, said the publishing executives. So Facebook Watch isn't really being used a ton by them, and they're admittedly worried about
I would be curious to see if those numbers had gone down dramatically, or if they've remained relatively the same after the introduction of mid-roll ads.
Yeah,
because they've made video on Facebook, for me personally, anecdotally speaking, virtually unwatchable. Because if something pops up mid-roll, I close it. It's not that important to me to see the whole thing. So,
sure.
So I feel like that's another piece that's really kind of taking these content producers and sort of backing them against a wall, and just making the content, the end product, suffer as a user. It seems almost like Facebook's doing whatever they can to, make the content so razor focused, by forcing people to really think about what they're putting out there and making not only the best content they can, because they have to make those kind of decisions with a smaller budget, but also hit the most focused audience they possibly can. So they have to be making stuff that really is going to fit exactly who they're aiming it towards, because if it doesn't resonate, it's going to be gone.
A great example of that, like a couple of the publishers listed, alternatives of how they're diversifying outside of Facebook. But one, Attention, which you'll know as ATTN if you've ever seen their videos on Facebook. They have had 255 million video views on Facebook in December, and which is 4.4 times higher than the Facebook average. And one of the things that they said is that the way they're able to sort of cultivate this organic reach is by doing those sort of razor-focused videos. So, for example, they did a 6-minute branded video featuring Keith Richards and Sheryl Crow, which has more than 3.5 million views and 38,000 shares. And one of the things that Matthew Siegel, the co-founder of Attention, said was that people are not accidentally watching a 6.5-minute video about involving these people. So I think that's a very good point. BuzzFeed, on the other hand, they charge a flat cost per view, and they guarantee total views across multiple platforms, which includes YouTube, its own site. BuzzFeed also has a ton of other different brands that originally started on their video section. For example, Tasty is one of them, which is its own whole huge thing now, as well as a couple others, and they're moving to Snapchat in addition to a couple other platforms. And then the final note on the article, they mentioned that if you're looking for some quote-unquote quick fixes, Instagram is going to become pretty popular with video. I mean, it's already pretty popular now. I think to some extent there are the obvious hang-ups of everything has to be 60 seconds or less, which is a little less than ideal, I would say, but we'll see how that goes on going forward. They also mentioned YouTube, which I think is good for big brands. At the moment, I would not necessarily say try and build your small brand on YouTube, especially with the changes that they just enacted.
It's very difficult to compete, and the threshold that they're setting to make you an official an influencer based on what they've decided as the minimum amount of viewers and videos and all. They're so high right now. Yeah. So it's if you're just starting out, you're in for a tough road.
That said, I know while Twitch is typically more focused for video games, they did just announce the other day that they're going to be doing some more pre-recorded video uploading, which is something that Twitch had previously not done. So that might be something to look at, in the years going forward. Depending on how YouTube continues to be with smaller content creators and smaller publishers, because we don't know how Twitch is going to be, enacting that sort of thing. And for those that don't know, Twitch is a live streaming platform. It's mostly used for video games.
And an uber nerd such as myself, I actually will use it to watch people play tabletop games and board games because, but I don't expect that there's a huge audience. But,
no. But it's something to look out for, because if Twitch ends up being really good for small content creators, you might see more different types of pre-recorded content and live streams other than the typical sort of niche that Twitch has right now, especially with YouTube, moving its qualifications way higher up in comparison. I believe you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 views total. Sorry, 4,000 minutes viewed over a year time, which for small content creators and small publishers is quite difficult to obtain. So for our final little story note for today, Digiday did, I believe this was Digiday did a little thing on site speed for some sites.
Yeah, so we've talked about this fairly ad nauseum, if I'm being honest. But we know that the mobile site speed is now becoming a ranking factor for sites, and Digiday ran basically a bunch of the biggest news sites out there through the tool that Google created, and just there's a couple of sites that really need to be we make note of. CNN, Mail Online, NBC News, Reuters, and the Wall Street Journal all came in under slow, which means that were this to go into effect right now, they might start getting pushed down. So there's a lot of things that need to be looked at there from their back end. You'd think that some of those sites would be a little more optimized, but. Obviously not, but I'm actually surprised to see some of the sites that are more video heavy in the average to fast category. I would have thought those would have been the ones that were struggling, but some of these sites, I'm shocked to see Wall Street Journal in there because it's not, it's not a video heavy platform or anything like that. So, I'm not really sure. To me, it seems must be a lot of the individual. Subscription-based access might be part of it, but again, it just to kind of give you an idea, if you're struggling with this, you're not alone. But it is something that you need to look at because it is absolutely going to be something that hits, and it's going to hit. When it hits, it will hit hard. But just keep in mind that some of these other publishers are struggling with it as well. Yeah,
the stat that we always came back to, especially when I was talking to Amy last week on the Commexis cast, was 7 seconds. You have 7 seconds to basically have your page load and give the content that people want to your user. So something like CNN and the Wall Street Journal, I'm actually pretty surprised that they're going into that slow category.
Well, again, it's mostly just a situation of optimizing for mobile as opposed to you've seen what everything looks like on a desktop anyway. So it's a mobile issue exclusively, and something that I'm sure all of them will get fixed soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to today's episode of the Commexis Cast Daily. Check us out tomorrow for more of the latest trending news. Have a great day.